Hello everyone, welcome to some OFC action on this fine Monday night. It is Monday, isn't it? Yeah, so we are going to be rocking and rolling with Sucky Boy and his Chinbasha'z Challengers versus the Dwarves of Punkaholia and the Stout Porters. We will just grab Cabal TV and we'll start spamming the match at some point, but I don't think it'll come up just yet because they were due to start right about now. If I feel like I have time, oh, there we go, we are actually in fact, so let's just jump straight in. I will explain the rules as we go. I'm hoping that everything is working. Anybody here who can confirm or deny whether the stream is working for them and they can hear me, etc.? That would be super helpful. Ping. Alright, so things to note. 1 minute turns, that means 1 minute setup. It would appear that Punkaholia has won the toss, so is going first, and this is the second game we will have watched in the snow, which makes GFIs much more crazy and hilarious. If you are paying any attention whatsoever to the results so far, you will have seen that the other dwarf team in Division 2 did in fact lose. That was Dr. Daka and his Keebler Dwarves, the team with the Death Roller and not much else, which in the spirit of this is grand. For those of you who aren't au fait on the rules, it is 1 minute turns. There are a limit on what you can have, so you have a limit on positionals, hence why you will only see the 2 on each squad. Everyone else has to be a lino, and deaths are to be expected. You are forced to keep a player until they die, so if they get injured, then you are stuck with them. That stumpy little dwarf running up the pitch. That is Oscar Blues, who will be our ball carrier for this drive. Let's see how these guys do under the pressure of time and lacking of skills. Although for dwarves that's not so much of a problem. Orcs definitely is. And don't underestimate Orc linos. I think they're the best in the league. Just making sure. Alright, so we can see that immediately Punkaholia is going for a left-hand drive, avoiding that troll. Bleg, he's a bit of a beefy boy. As you can see, we have no bench for Sucky Boy because Reed and Grot is out here, and no bench for Punkaholia. Here we go, starts with the hits. Let's see how this punishment goes. Whether we're going to see a dauntless hit on the troll, maybe. Alright. So yeah, this is the decision making process. This is where you go, I've got 8 seconds left, what do I do? Throws the dauntless block, gets them both down. Pretty big result there. Let's see how Sucky Boy responds. If anyone is in chat and can hear me, I would very much appreciate if they could just drop a message in just saying that they can hear me, or if they can't, letting me know so I can fix any issues that I may have. That'd be a bit depressing if I'm talking to literally nobody right now, which is entirely possible. I might be the only person watching. Oh, fireball goes in straight away. That's, oh, and we got injury from the fireball there, and that's a niggle. Damn, that's pretty spicy. And a death. Insane. Insane action on the first turn. Wow. That is a death. That's pretty funny. Sucky Boy going in hard there. That changes the complexion of things quite a bit. That gives the Orcs a numerical advantage that may offset that lack of block. I'll be honest, I didn't even look at inducements. There is a babe as well for the Challengaz, who obviously went in with quite a degree of TV down. I do believe that's the first wizard we've seen in OMCFC, and that is an incredibly, incredibly, incredibly brave thing to do, and it has paid off. A death and a niggle, that's crazy stuff. So as you can see, they are flooding in to defend, basing up those dwarves, basing up the ball carrier. This could get pretty messy pretty quick. Let's see where the blitz goes in from here. Okay, and that doesn't come off. We see an instant reroll. Both teams having 3 rerolls each. That's a very, very nice reroll, to be fair. No armor break. Thick Skull doing its thing. But if you're Punkaholic, you've got to be slightly on the back foot here. That was pretty gnarly. Fortunately, it shouldn't be too much difficulty to clear the line. The problem is that everyone else is pretty much engaged, and he's just stood up Alesmith, who does not move in, but here we go, freeing them up. I would expect we're going to see a blitz come in from here, but we may just see a ball carrier hit. Do have block after all. Taking some time to think. Yeah, here comes the blitz. Gets the hit. And down the greenskin goes. Of course, you don't get any SPP if your wizard kills people and injures people, so no true advantage going forward from that, although that does put Punkaholic at a slight disadvantage. You know, they're going to have to replace one of those players at some point, although using a loader, not that bad. Okay, shove the orc out of the way. Try and maybe move off the troll. I don't think this is going to be a game where we're going to see a lot of dodging dwarves, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Using all of that huge 1 minute turn time, as you can see. Now, are we going to see a stand up in the dying seconds? Oh, and we get a skull. Not sure I would have re-rolled that. I might have just eaten it, but does shove them away. And no stand up for Prairie Bomb out there on his own. It's a big knot of orcs up there, isn't it? Let's see where we go from here. Trying to analyse strategy in this kind of game is kind of crazy because there's so much speed involved and so much swift decision making that you're kind of just reacting to what's happening rather than trying to predict what people are going to do. And the obvious answer to that is that we are going to see encroaching on this cage. I'd quite like to see Succubus try and split the pitch in half here, taking down that Troll Slayer. If we do that, then we may well see the dwarves isolated out and then picked off gradually. Oh, and an armor break. It's just a stun, but it's a big stun. It's a big piece to have down on the floor. Guinness is down. Second player named Guinness we've seen, as Rand has one in college. Blitz goes in. Good hit. No armor break, but again a player on the ball. Dwarves ain't doing much dodging. Piling on the pressure. We may see Prairie Bomb come forward as well. May see a troll activation here. Yes. Really stupid's it, because that's what trolls do. I think I've just realised that one of those linemen might be named after me. Which is quite amusing. Let's find out where he is and how likely he is to die. Face stabber the face stabber. Some great names on these teams. Ghaustos, there he is. It's like the Sean Connery version of me. Alright, so just trying to kind of secure the position a little bit. I would expect to see Prairie Bomb jump up from somewhere to come in and support. There you go, gets the 1 dice this time. Doesn't follow, so this will probably be another turn in which the ball doesn't really move. But that's fine. Still got a few turns. I think you've got to see them cross the halfway line next turn, though. May use Prairie Bomb as a score threat. Or to tag up the Goblin. Tier Warlock is a good name as well. I think these are all beers, but they're not beers that I'm familiar with, because I think they're American ones. Oh, other than Guinness, obviously, which is Irish, and everyone knows Guinness. Alright. Yep. Do we see LH Milk sacrifice to the gods while 5th tier Warlock comes back to support? No, we see a red dice block, and that was a great result for that. Brave play, but block against no block. I'm highly approving of that. Troll goes down. There we are. Alright, so Sucky Boy, after his daring opening manoeuvre, hasn't really been able to truly threaten the ball just yet, but we will see. There we are. Troll skips back, decides to use its brain, what little there is of it. I'm quite interested to see if Sucky Boy attempts to foul, given he has a player advantage. Opts not to tag up the Troll Slayer as yet. Wonder if that could come back to bite him. There we go. Punched out to the side. That is a dwarf in prime position for being surfed, and 2 players on the ball now. Been quite lucky with their block dice so far, both teams. Other than that skull that was re-rolled and a failed GFI into a blitz, not really seen much in the way of skulls and both downs coming out. Both downs, of course, favouring dwarves. Not all that many pushes either. Here you go, blitz goes in. I think we're going to see 3 players on the ball from here. Now, I think you probably push him. Yeah, that's what I would do. Though not as secure as if you'd got a down result in this, saving those re-rolls for later turns, I guess. Okay. So, debating what to do with the reading grot, maybe. I think we have to see Sucky Boy as being in a definite position of advantage here. Although perhaps not tagging up the Slayer might have been an error. I think we may see a blitz from here, because otherwise Allagash Black is out of it essentially. Nicely done with the GFI there, always risky in the snow. And here we go, block goes in, one die pow. I don't think we'll see any movement there, but that should free up a few more blocks. And we may see some more red dice come out. But as I was expecting from this game, this is just a bit of a ruck, really. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Wiedengot showing his approval. And that's Mushmore, getting Mushmored. Three seconds, 5 seconds, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Hit goes in. Good stuff. Oh, and we get an armor break. That is a stun. I think that's the first armor break really we've seen on the side of the dwarves. So maybe they can try and leverage that a little. And that's the turnover. It's quite nice how quickly these turns go sometimes. It means I'm not going to be here for hours on end trying to fill lots of time while we wait for people to do things, because they have to do things. Alright, so much more steps back in. The Wiedengrot comes in to provide an assist. Just a push though. And it's a push towards the sidelines, and it closes up that channel even further. So we're now looking at a solid wall of Orc players in front of Oscar Blues and the ball. I think we may see... Oh, and that's a KO on Founders. So that is now a severe player disadvantage for Punkaholia. We may well see Prairie Bomb go long, pun intended, to try and get into some sort of scoring position. That does, however, mean that the Troll is going to gang up on people now. Putting it into contact with the Troll Slayer though. Troll Slayer does have Dauntless. There we are, tags him up. And the hit on the ball carrier goes in, and it's a successful one. Oh, immediate catch there. That's Squiggy. Named for Squigums, I do believe, so kind of appropriate. May end up being the ball carrier. And we are seeing the classic potato maneuver. Goes for the GFI, fails it. I would expect to see a reroll from that. Yep, there we go. That's Sucky Boy down to one reroll. Is he brave enough to go for a second one? I don't think so. Alright, so from here, I think we're going to see a Dauntless block against the Troll, because that will free up these two. That is a Blitz. Alright. So turn ordering, definitely on the mind of Punkaholia here. And Punkaholia does have a chance to steal this ball back. I don't know whether the stealing of the ball back is going to be enough, because we are 4 turns from the end now, and Dwarves are pretty slow. There we are, Dauntless block goes in, that's enough. All he needed was the push. Go Frenzy as well. Dauntless fails. Are we going to see a reroll for it? We do not, and that is unfortunate. That's better. It's another push. So re-rolled the block on the red dice rather than re-rolled. Can you even re-roll Dauntless? I don't know. Probably. So now I would expect to see one of these two blitz. And that's going to be Squiggy getting cromped. And it is. Squiggy goes down. Ball goes out to the sideline. That's slightly awkward, given that neither team are particularly agile, and picking up can be a bit of a chore for them both. I would have liked to have seen movement onto the ball there, but there we go. That is a KO on Badmore. Badmore is out of there, at least until the next drive. May see a 1-die block against Ghaustos to try and free him up. I think that's about the only person that can. Oh, no. Unfortunately, get the skull. And Duck Rabbit is down. Alright, so let's see if Sucky Boy can recover this ball and get it into a position where he could go into his own drive in a 1-0 situation. So we see the blitz come in. We see some consolidation. I don't think there's going to be an attempt on that ball just now. Oh, and a both down for Bleg. Does he dare the reroll? I think he just has to eat it. And that's a turnover. So here we go, we may see some attempts at extricating here. We've got a couple of players who are a bit more free. There we are, goes for the pickup, makes it. Now unfortunately he is in contact with an Orc there and would have to dodge. So I don't know if we're going to see the ball move, but that ball really does need protecting. Both down, that's fine, although that does still leave a player in contact with said ball. So there could be a surf on here. Unless we can see some players move back, and I'm not entirely sure he has enough to prevent it. Red dice block, gets the push. I think you have to follow this one. Yep. So, I'm not entirely sure that ball can be made any safer than it is right now, not with the speed of the dwarves. Gets the hit. I might have been tempted to push him back and get away from the troll, because the troll will be more likely to activate if there's no one standing next to it. This is kind of an exercise in damage limitation for Punkaholia to a degree. Going in 0-0, not ideal when it's your drive, but not unassailable. Whereas I think if the Orcs score on this drive, or this half, then it's going to be a very tough uphill struggle with players down and the speed of the dwarves to factor in. So Boys played a bit of a blinder with that fireball, got very lucky with it, but... Okay, so here we go. Here comes the crush in. There is definitely a surf on for Oscar Blues here, unfortunately, so we may see that happen next turn. I think Sucky Boy is probably in the mood to just try and damage the dwarves as much as possible in the hopes that that will stop them from really being able to compete next turn. Does he burn the reroll on this, or does he just take the both down? Just takes the both down, saving that reroll for when it counts, I guess. And we go stun straight away. That is Ghaustos. I resent that, as that appears to be someone named after me. That is a very isolated looking dwarf. Oscar may well have the blues after the next turn. Gets the one die though. That's pretty good. Pushes the grot back. That makes the surf a little less likely, although still in prime surfing position with this bad boy here, Chinbasha'z, the man, the myth, the legend. Does he brave the GFIs? He does not. I think we're going to see a surf here. Chinbasha'z will activate immediately, maybe, or maybe we'll just see. Yeah, run, kick around could have thrown a block, but there we go. That is Oscar Blues out of there, and that is the ball loose. Gets a bit of a kicking for his troubles. That ball goes flying over to the other side of the pitch and lands right at the feet of the Troll Slayer. That's an interesting one. Consolidates back across the pitch. The Reed and Grot goes running across to the ball and sits on it. We may even see a Troll Goblin shock attempt here. Scatters it. Nope, no catch, unfortunately. Opts not to reroll. So again, a bit more crumping, I think. Now my temptation would be to foul Guinness the Troll Slayer here. Take him out of the equation. We may see that happen. Nope, no foul. Dumping some more dwarves on their backs. And there we're at. Last turn of the half. Let's see how they go. Sorry, not paying close enough attention to the action here. I just got a text message that distracted me momentarily. I apologise. Oh, fails the GFI. Down he goes. Do we see a reroll? We do. That is the reroll. I would have thought you'd have to. There we are. Grabs the ball, prevents the score, presumably. Going to be tough for the Orcs to score in one turn from this. There's some very, very good defensive play by Punkaholia there, getting people where they needed to be, or dwarves where they needed to be. Troll hit first. Brave boy gets the hit on the Troll Slayer. And an armor break, but just a stun. Not that it really matters with the half nearly over. And I can see a loose Orc here who could, in theory, blitz up here, which means that much more could recover. The Reading Grot gets in to give a bit more of an assist. And here we go, here goes the punch. Oh, no, just a push. So, doesn't look like Sucky Boy will be scoring this turn, but there is still a blitz on. Just much more complicated and much more likely to fail in the snow. I think we see Morkfang throw a block, maybe? Yes, Morkfang will throw a block. And then hope that the follow-up means that there's 2 dice in on LH Milk. And a double power, just for good measure. Drops him on his back. No more injuries, though. No blitz. Will we see a blitz in here on Aylesmith Speedway? We do not. We see a blitz on the ball carrier with the GFI, which fails. Reroll straight away. Might as well use it. And a both down. Alas. And there we are. That is the half over. No score for the Dwarves because of that very early fireball. A very early and very lethal fireball. So I guess we will see how Sucky Boy and Chinbasha'z Challengaz do on the offensive. It's quite a brutal sight to see after just a fireball. And here we go. Back we get. And we'll switch around so that we are following the attacking team. A pretty standard dwarf setup here. I'm expecting to see Sucky Boy try and force the numbers advantage by stacking the line of scrimmage, which he does. Going very attack minded. I think that's probably the right call. Essentially a wedge of greenskin bearing down on the orcs here, on the dwarves here rather. Keeps that Troll Slayer. Where is the Troll Slayer? The Troll Slayer is stuck out on the left hand side. There we go. Kickers in. Both teams get an extra reroll. It's still snowing though. Pretty good kick. Out to one side, so it's going to be tougher to recover. Although you may see the read and drop come into play there. Could equally be much more. Pulls back to cover. Here go the punches. Wisely opting for those before the pickup. Just pushes though. So I'm thinking we may see a troll activation here, but then again, there is that numbers advantage, so it could well be the very last thing that he does with the turn. Tags up that back dwarf. Could be seeing a push past the Troll Slayer here then. Locking those dwarves in place. Very clever. Means they can essentially not threaten the ball at all because none of them are going to be dodging. Blitz goes in. Just a push. It's frustrating when you are only hitting a couple of targets in a turn and it's just pushes that you get. Now, do we see the troll activate or do we see the ball recovery? I'm not sure whether he'll bother with activating Bleg, but you never know. He does, and he really stupids it. That's unfortunate. Now, I think we have to see the ball recovery here. Picks it up and immediately drops it. He did re-roll it, yes, Squiggy. Yeah. Why not, I guess. I would have just left it as the stupid as well, but rhyme or reason. It is OMCFC. It is basically just for the memes, so I'm perfectly happy with him doing that either way. This is less about strategy and more about scrambling around trying to get things to work. But this does give the dwarves the advantage to try and push back on the numbers disadvantage that they are currently suffering under, thanks to that round 1 Fireball of Doom, which is quite the moment. That will be definitely making it into the highlights package. Still no luck with the armor breaks, but getting the hits in and dropping those orcs like flies. I wonder if we'll see a red dice block. It's a lot of 1-die blocks, but they're 1-die blocks with block against players without blocks, Squiggy, so I kind of get it. And everyone's kind of forced to take a lot of 1-die blocks in these games to a degree, because of the lack of skills and so on and so forth with our players. I'm not that disparaging about people who take 1-die blocks, because I take far too many of them myself. Punkaholia has managed to make a lot of those orcs have to stand up, which does limit their ability to get back and support, but unfortunately the blitz was on and Oscar Blues is going to go down on the sideline. Now, I guess you try and activate the troll, because if you don't, it's still just going to be really stupid, unless you just want to use it as a roadblock. Oh, there we go. Gets a push. Essentially moves his line of scrimmage up a little bit more. Of course, yeah, it is risky. It is risky. And goes for the pass, and fails the catch. Goes for the reroll, and fails that. Not the worst thing ever, the scatter was alright with that, but it does mean that he's going to have to waste a turn trying to pick it up again. But has plenty of time to get it downfield after that. Oh, immediate red dice. Oh, immediate skull and then another skull. That is really unfortunate. Punkaholia has had some pretty rotten luck in respects to some things going on here. I mean, obviously these don't give SPP, but you know, losing a dwarf in the first turn of your first game and getting a niggle on another one is pretty savage, and that was very unfortunate. Succuboy not being punished for the failed handoff, or failed vanity pass in the backfield there. And we see another POW, but that's another burned reroll, and that is 2 rerolls in 2 turns, pretty much. About 3 turns. But that's another dwarf on the sidelines. In servable position. Yep. Yeah, you're correct actually, it is 3 rerolls in 3 turns. And another failed pickup. So we are going to have one of those ones where the Orcs just can't pick the ball up. Suck Your Boy should be trying, I think, next turn to get that ball downfield, because otherwise he's going to be in danger of throwing away that numerical advantage and simply getting a draw. I mean, he does have a lot of players in the opposing backfield, but they are, unfortunately, linemen who will have to dodge. That one, it's basically a pick whatever it is, pick your poison. Yeah, absolutely, Squiggy. I think that's the thing with me as well. I mean, I have a tendency to play too fast anyway, but I kind of liked the idea of just having to take silly risks and things like that. And I think it will actually improve my play, and it will improve my ability to see things quicker. So there is a practical reason behind it as well. But yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot of people take a lot of risks and do a lot of things that would be considered really dumb in normal games where you've got 3 minutes to think about what you're doing. Instant reroll there. Shoves the Orc back. And another skull. That's a lot of skulls that Punkaholier has rolled tonight. So I think Punkaholier can probably feel a bit aggrieved by the dice. But that's the risks with 1 dice blocks. They can turn out like that. Yep, I figured he would probably try for the pickup straight away. And gets it with the reroll. That is all his rerolls gone, and no clear scoring threat in sight. But he is about to cross the halfway line. Doesn't cage so much as just stand someone up on the side to help. And we see Oscar Blues getting pushed back and away from the play. Hey, yeah, still on. We're 0-0. He missed a turn 1 fireball that killed a dwarf and niggled another one, and that's another injury to a dwarf, just to badly hurt this time now. But yeah, there is a degree of snowball going on right now. Oh, for sure, yeah, the AV9 has not saved these dwarves today. I mean, losing 2 dwarves essentially to a fireball is pretty brutal, and that niggle going forward could prove to be a bit of an Achilles heel. Although I'm sure other teams will accrue many injuries going forwards as well. Troslayer gets shoved back. And we've got to stay on there because Alesmith is out of it as a result. Now it's the dwarves' turn to try and get in on that ball. I'm not sure how they do it, but it is conceivable. There we go. We get a stun on Chinbasha'z. The team's namesake is now stunned. There isn't really anyone, in fact, who can get onto the ball. But we do see the blitz come in. That's brave play. Go for that 1 die blitz. Gets the punch. Oh, and there we go. Squiggy is now KO'd. Bit of a return. Doesn't really do much to negate the numerical disadvantage. Now I'm wondering if we're going to see this lad here, 5th tier Warlock, stand up. Oh, and another KO. That's a pretty good turn for the Dwarves in terms of KOs from 1 dice. Yeah, Squiggy. it is true that there is one one called Squiggy and one called Ghaustos, who I'm assuming is a reference to myself. I think there's a Rand on here somewhere as well. Yeah, Run Kicker Rand. So there's a few players named after coaches we're all going to be individually rooting for, I think. But this has been a low SPP game so far, because the injuries, other than that one for the troll, have come from the fireball. So not a great deal of development, and in Punkaholia's case, negative development because of the niggle and the death, which means Punkaholia is most likely going to be playing with a loner next time, which doesn't really make all that much difference because it's just going to be another lino, but even so. Alright, so moving the ball out there, tags up the dwarf to the bottom right, who is Doc Rabbit. Gets the push on Oscar Blues. May see the reading go up in support. I think LH Milk needs tagging up really. So, nope, we see the run in there. This could be time for a very brave LH Milk blitz, because I don't see who you send up to help. Because Chinbasha'z ain't getting up. There we are. This could be LH Milk's time. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 2 GFIs. 2 GFIs to get a 1 dice blitz. And he's going for it. He's going for the blitz. Gets the skull. Oh, gets the pow. There we go. Puts tackle on the ball. Can he get someone up to support is the question, because that's going to be a pretty simple 2-die from here. Slayer gets his man, and we have Aylesmith Speedway now freed up. The hand skull footman is on the ball carrier. Gets a pow. Big arm break. That is a good stun to get. Follows though. That's interesting. Gets the hit back here. Is this where we see the insane dwarf dodge attempt, maybe? Nope, but we do get a red dice hit on the troll, which results in a push. Pushes reading Grot out. No follow there. Which, given that the troll is currently between 2 players, means that the troll may very well just move back into position, but we will see. I think it's almost a dead cert that we're going to see a blitz on LH Milk. Yep. And it's a power as well. So, like a speedy little potato, we are going to see Mushmore go pelting towards the line, I think. While Chinbasha'z probably tags up Doc Rabbit. And there we go. There is the potatoing. Not even a thought of trying to risk for a GFI in the snow, which means we may in fact have to see a dwarf dodge, which would be very funny, especially if it works. Just a push. Alright, so a couple of options here. You could see Dark Rabbit run in with a blitz on Run Kick Around so that LH Milk can make a GFI and get on ball. Guinness and Badmore continuing their war of just punching Badmore a lot. Are we going to see some crazy dwarf play in the dying seconds? That is a 1 die right down here. I'm not sure why that one happened. I think it is going to have to be LH Milk if it's going to be anyone getting in on Mushmore. There we are, here comes the Blitz. Gets a skull again. And there we go. Tags up. And here we go. That is the GFI. That is tackle on a Lino who will have to dodge out. But is it going to be enough? Only time will tell. Exciting stuff in the last couple of turns of the game. And we get a skull. But as skulls go, it's not the worst skulls. Thank goodness it's tackle, otherwise it would be a problem. So I don't know, this is a dodge with no reroll to potentially win the game. Of course, there is the opportunity to recover should Mushmore fail to get away. But I think you've basically got to take this. I don't think there's any way of getting anyone... reading Grot, no. Don't think there's any way of getting anyone up in support without dodging themselves, so I think you kind of do have to just take this. And hope it works. Oh, then again, tell a lie. That does work. Goes for the follow. Has to step in to dodge out and through though. Just preventing more support from coming in, so it is going to be a 1 die regardless. Goes for dodge and gets it, and that is the score. That's probably GG's. Mushmore with the touchdown. Check out dem Orc boobage with their squig pom-poms. They do amuse me. Both Orcs get up. Let's see how the Dwarves do. They're looking a bit peaky. Nope. So really this is just going to be a case of punchings. A bit of punchings. Immediately just goes with what he was with before. It's a very depleted Dwarf Squadron who are probably feeling a little bit hard done by where those dice was concerned. So let's see what can happen in 2 turns. See if we get any more craziness. And that's a cancelled riot because of a security gate. Well, you know, you spend the money, don't you? He pays your money and you takes your chance. I've got a security gate. Chill your bee name. Oh, and that's a downed dwarf from the GFI in the snow. Unfortunate. Funky definitely has to be feeling quite hard done by in this one. Has been fun to watch. Snow has definitely been a factor in this. Troll Blitz. Brave stuff. Goes for the Troll Slayer. Gets the POW. Is Mighty Blow going to do its thing? No, it's not. Now contemplating moving that troll back, maybe? I don't think it's going to be more movement on it. Yeah. Oh, for sure, yeah. Sucky Boy's team value was only 740 going into this. So he probably had quite a lot of money left. Which is how he managed to get a wizard and a babe in inducements. That fireball was pretty much the one of the more brutal that I've seen. Yeah, whereas I spent all my money on things like re-rolls because I was trying to be mildly sensible. Kind of regretting it after seeing this, though. I think the wizard is something we may well expect to see come out of Sucky Boy's back pocket quite often. And that is a clobbering for an orc. Wonder if we'll see Reading Grot get crumped here. No, we don't. Maybe going for a vanity pass. Oscar Blues picks up and throws the vanity pass and fails. And there we are. That is the game. That was a good laugh. We did see a death, as I said. SPP wise, 5 for Founders, 5 for Face Stabber to Face Stabber, 3 for Mushmore and 2 for Bleg. GG's lads. I'm sure we'll talk about it in chat. But thank you for letting me cast it. And commiserations to Punkaholio. The dice there were kind of rough, I think. We'll see just how it works out. Oh, no, actually, it's just they came where it counted. So ever so slightly more both downs as well. But both downs don't really matter because of the whole block thing going on. Yeah, pretty even, really. Pretty even, really. I don't think that there was much in the way of issues in terms of... I got 2 failed like really stupids, which isn't that bad. 1 failed loner roll, which was that inexplicable reroll. 3 failed pickups to 2, which is pretty rough. And 1 catch out of 4 attempts. Yeah, so I don't think there was a massive amount of dramatic bad luck, except really with those KO rolls that didn't come back. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to sign off there. I will talk to you all later. Cheers. Good night.